Right.
Starting things in 1 second.
Good, thank you. I'm going to call to order the Transportation and Circulation Commission meeting for the City of Lafayette for February 18th, 2025. We'll begin with a roll call of commissioners, starting with Commissioner and Vice Chair Stella Witherspoon.
Present.
Commissioner Greg Brown.
Present.
Commissioner Lynn Hedane.
Present.
Commissioner Vianney Serriere.
Present.
And Commissioner Michelle Sahar.
Present.
And I'm the Commissioner and Board Chair, Bart Carr, and I'm here obviously, and we're supported by staff, Patrick Goyer, who's our Transportation and Circulation Commission Program Manager. Item 3 does not apply to tonight's meeting. Item 4 is adoption of agenda. Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. I have a couple of things I need to read before we get into the meeting, so let me quickly do that. First of all, regarding teleconference access or teleconferencing video access, members of the public may participate virtually in this meeting via video feed. However, the city cannot guarantee that the public access will be uninterrupted and technical difficulties may occur. Every effort will be made to restore video audio access. However, unless required by the Brown Act, the Transportation and Circulation Commission meeting will continue despite technical difficulties. In the event of a video interruption, members of the public are invited to join us in person. And then regarding public comment, the public comment must be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission and can either be given for items on the agenda at the time the item is being heard or during the public comment agenda item for items not on the current agenda. In-person commenters are asked to submit speaker slips. We have none here right now. And public comment is limited to 3 minutes. If a commenter reaches and exceeds 3 minutes, I will politely ask the commenter to conclude his or her comments. So we are now going into the public comment item for items not on the agenda tonight. We have nobody in attendance here. Do we have anybody online?
No hands are raised.
No hands are raised. All right, then we will move on to old business, and there is no old business tonight. We do have 2 items under new business. The first being the BART Town Center and Bike Station project. And we're being asked to receive this report and receive and file is staff's recommendation. So with that, I'll turn it over to staff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll kick it off, and then we're joined here by Matt Luttrup, who is the Engineering Services Manager at the city, and Matt is handling the design and the coordination with BART on this project. So I'll just kick it off. This is Lafayette Town Center Pathway and BART Station Bike Station project. It's a longstanding project. It was initiated a number of years ago when the town center development was being constructed. As part of their off-site requirements, they were required to construct that pathway that goes between the BART station and almost to Mount Diablo Boulevard. And so at that time, city and BART worked together to initiate this project to continue safe pedestrian and bicycle access to the BART station, create a public plaza area with an arts installation, and then install bike racks as well, or a bike station. So next slide. This is just a slide at the location. So this project takes place on the BART parking lot on the south side of the station that ends at a kind of a roundabout, the end of the cul-de-sac there. I've added a few other things to this map. In the blue, you can see the existing town center pathway that was constructed about 10 years ago or so. And then I wanted to call out the East Bay Mud Aqueduct right-of-way, which also provides connection to this area as well. And so the project really is aligned with these other efforts as we move forward on the aqueduct and the East Bay Aqueduct pathway. Next slide. So this is just an aerial. You can see at the bottom left, the existing town center pathway. And then kind of the giant gash there between 24 and the BART tracks is the aqueduct right of way. And then just a few photos that I pulled of the existing condition. So on the top is the location where the bike station is being sited in that little area with the small little trees. And then on the bottom, you can see the intersection there between the town center pathway and the cracked pavement, which is the existing kind of pathway that leads to that end of the cul-de-sac that I had shown before. So with that, I'll hand it over to Matt to describe kind of the primary components of the project in a little more detail.
I'll just do a show and tell over here. Since you have the nice drawing up here anyway. So, right now the existing parking lot extends to about here. So that part of the parking lot goes away, and then this becomes a decorative plaza type thing. So this is gonna be different colored brick pavers. So there's some accent colored brick pavers in the middle, and then solid color here. The existing turnaround here is going to be repaved and then a colored coating put over it to make it, I think it's kind of a brown that's gonna go there. And then little thermoplastic stencils of the dandelions. The actual suspended artwork is gonna be over this portion of the roundabout. So that's what these things are. That's the support post for the suspended artwork. Yes, Lynn?
I thought those were suspended.
That's what I just said. So these posts here,
No, the
Oh,
other
what?
ones also.
these,
Yeah,
no. Those are stencils. Those are thermoplastic stencils
those
that go on
are
the
in
ground.
the ground, right?
Yeah, so those go on the
So
pavement,
which ones are in the air?
the ones that are over here.
Aha,
So that there's a lattice work of wires above this roundabout area here that the dandelion seeds will be suspended from.
okay, and where will they be riding, actually riding?
Who, cyclists? Cyclists could be riding through the parking lot, they could be on the sidewalk over here, they could be over in this area. I suspect if they're following the pathway from downtown, they'll be coming up this area, then across the dandelions and then onto the plaza. I would hope they would dismount by the time they got to the plaza, because there's probably gonna be people here. And then they can walk to the BART station, and this is where the ramp is to get you up into the BART station.
And they could be going to the bike station.
Right, so this is where the bike station is, so if they're going to park their bike, they would probably ride this way and park their bike. If they're coming from Happy Valley, they'll either be going through the parking lot or on the sidewalk over here to get to the bike station.
And where is Happy Valley Road?
We're here.
Okay,
So that's kind of a big overview. There's gonna be streetlights, and, our short little streetlights. Those will go along the pathway and in this roundabout area. The artwork also has lighting associated with it on top of the poles, and I believe the dandelion seeds themselves have some interior lighting. And then this area around it, where it's kind of green, will have landscaping associated with it. I don't think there's gonna be any landscaping over here, that's just gonna be mulch. Because this area is used by EV Mud to access their aqueducts, that's what these bolt things are, is there's some access points for their aqueducts. So that's kind of the big picture of what we're doing. The plan is to get this thing out to bid at the end of March. We are still working on some revised calculations for the structural work for the dandelions because it's been 4 years since those calculations were last done and all the codes have changed. So we have to rerun through them. Oh, there you go. There's the dandelions, Lynn. So that's kind of how they'll look. This is where the plaza will, or the roundabout will be, is underneath there. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay,
One more slide.
Oh, sorry. That's what the bike station is supposed to look like,
Where's the entry?
right here.
Okay. And that goes up to,
Doesn't go up anywhere. It's just a building.
no,
It's
I
next
know,
to
but
the
it looks
stairs.
like it goes up. How's it gonna meet Bart?
It doesn't. It's a building that's in front of their stairway and ramp area.
can you go to the first photograph where?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, right
So
there.
it fits in this area right here. Where this tree and these lights and stuff are, that's where the bike station is gonna
It's on the
go.
parking lot level. Okay,
There is already some, I don't know how you call them, cubicles.
Yeah, those are kind of over here. They're like bike boxes.
Right.
that maybe when they fit two bicycles in them.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they are lockable, right?
yeah. So this project doesn't envision removing those.
Oh, okay, they'll stay
It
on.
just is adding these. Now, if Bart chooses to remove those, that's their decision.
I see. Now the other question is that part of the BART station's real estate, or is it part of Lafayette? real estate?
Well, we own none of this.
you need,
So
you
Lafayette
need
has
water?
none of this real estate.
You need water?
So this real
Good
estate
idea.
is kind of Bart, but kind of Caltrans.
Thank you.
So all of this, including the BART station, is on Caltrans right away. But BART has, essentially a forever lease for it. So the permitting, this is why this project is so complicated. BART is the one that did the design for the bike station.
Okay,
So all their stuff is in there. Caltrans, we need a permit from Caltrans to build the bike station because it's on Caltrans right away. We need permitting from EV Mud to build the dandelions and change the parking lot stuff because that's all on EV Mud Aqueduct right away.
okay,
None of this is right away.
but we're gonna pay for it? Lafayette is going to pay for it?
Yes and no. So the portion that Lafayette is paying for as far as construction goes is relatively minimal. It's like $12,500 out of the pathway funding. The artwork is paid for by the town center that they
Oh,
had,
the apartments? huh?
yeah, they had to pay for the artwork. And I think there was a little bit extra kicked in out of the art
Budget?
public art
Oh,
funds.
yeah,
And then there's a huge grant that we originally received from the federal government. But then because that was going to expire, we traded BART for one of their grants. So now it's funded by a BART grant. And BART spent our federal grant on something they were doing. So it is not fun. Let's just put it that way. So
Matt, when were those plans drafted? The design for the.
I think, well, Farzaneh Sanders was the last one that was working on them with LCC, and that was probably 3 or 4 years ago was when that was completed, but they've been working on them for 8, 9 years.
Oh, okay, since the beginning. I was just wondering about the bike cage and if it's, if Bart's weighed in on if it's appropriately sized.
I mean, the bike station,
Mm-hmm.
they designed it, it's
Okay.
theirs.
So they've determined they need the 60.
They've determined that that's the appropriate thing to put there.
Sounds good.
There's capacity is what, 60 bikes? I think I
50
read.
bikes is.
Oh, okay.
Quite a few
So
bikes.
all this started back when all the BART parking lots were completely full of cars and really high use, and right now, that's not really the case. So I'm hoping that this will encourage more cyclists to use it. We'll see.
Is there any promotions gonna be made?
I'm sure once this is all done,
Goes from the top or from the bottom of the station?
I'm sure once this is all done, there'll be lots of PR and stuff about, hey, come use the train station. I don't think we're gonna do that until we're done.
So I have a couple of questions. This is going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, okay. You said you're gonna get
well, we gotta,
proposals in March
right, we
and,
gotta let it out to bid.
right,
The plan is to let it out to bid in March. And then after that, it has to go to Bart to review the bids. We review the bids. Everybody's happy. It goes to the city council for them to award the contract. That'll probably take a month before, we can actually get everything together, because Bart has a whole different series of rules and things that you have to follow. So it'd take about a month before we can actually start building things.
but given that, you foresee that this could begin later this year?
We could be digging holes in the ground by May,
Oh, that's soon, okay,
yeah. Fingers crossed we get good bids.
okay. And as I think I read in the report, both East Bay Mud and BART and Caltrans are all supportive of this. There's
Yeah,
nobody that
and
has.
they, we've got all the permitting, most of the permitting lined up, some of it needs to be revised.
Yeah.
Might need to get a new permit with the county for the electrical work, but things are moving along, and everybody's seen this once before and approved it, so all we've been doing is kind of cleaning things up. And then all of the permitting expired, so we're trying to make it alive again.
Right, and I mentioned Caltrans, but Caltrans isn't part of this.
Caltrans,
Are
we
they?
need a permit from
We need
them,
a
but
per-
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And regarding the East Bay Mud right of way, does this impact our plans, potential plans for the aqueduct pathway?
It doesn't, so for the grant that I applied for, at the end of December, I was given a letter of support by BART. But their one question to me was making sure that project would be integrated with this project, right? So, and I said, yes, of course.
So is this part of the aqueduct path, will become part of the aqueduct pathway?
Oh.
Conceivably, yes. So
Yes.
it depends on, you could bring up the slide that shows kind of, there you go. So it depends on how you want to tie things in. So you may recall, there's a huge hill here.
Yes.
And then over here on Happy Valley Road, another huge hill. So the question is, how do you bring people down to the BART station from those two hills? So if we do switchbacks here, you can tie in to this kind of bridge crossing here, which is sort of an informal
yes.
connection to that right now. And then people could wander this way. Or for those of you who've been to Seattle, you might be able to put in a bridge that starts back here and ties into the BART station at BART station level, kind of like what you experience if you're getting off the ferries in Seattle. You walk kind of on an elevated pedestrian way as you walk into the city. Going this way, I'm not really sure how we're gonna get over the Happy Valley Hill. I haven't scoped that out yet.
Okay, but just to answer my question, this would be part
This
of,
all ties.
all
tie
tied
in,
together,
no
right?
problem.
Okay. And then going back to the bike parking facility, bike parking station, and maybe I'm just getting ahead of things, but I guess one of the questions or concerns that people might have would be that being used in other ways.
It does have a lock on it.
Okay,
So it's got, BART has this fancy electronic keypad thing, so you can only access this if you, I think if you have some sort of subscription or you've purchased bike storage
got it.
credits or whatever, so it's
Okay.
not open.
So it's not
to
an
anyone.
open walk up, park
It's
your
not
bike.
like
that
you're
kind of
gonna
thing,
walk
right?
in here and find homeless people sleeping.
Right, okay, all right. Great, thank
I have a
you.
follow-up question on the Happy Valley Road crossing for the aqueduct path. So, I looked at that report and it talked about maybe a crossing bridge or something across Happy Valley Road. And I had the same thought as Bart about just how will that integrate? And would some of that parking lot be necessary if there was, say, a bridge overpass for Happy Valley Road? And then also how would that interact with the dandelions?
Right, when I did a quick walk out here, I walked up this hill because I was curious, how in the world are we gonna do this?
Mm-hmm.
One thought I had is sweep the path closer to the freeway. Do your flyover there and then sweep it down and through the forested area
Mm,
and then tie on. That would, you could have that overcrossing stop here. And then this would be at grade, because there's a big hill here.
mhm.
This isn't all bridge here. And then you could tie on to the BART platform over here. That's still kind of
Okay,
way up in the air. I don't see the connection being landing in the parking lot.
Yeah,
That
that's
just
what I was
doesn't make
wondering
any
about.
sense.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, they're not really flowers, what are
Dandelions.
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 the dandelion, well, but the decorations, the high,
Uh-huh.
what are you calling those? The art installation?
Yeah.
Okay. How far are those from any sort of pathway or roads?
Well, you got a roundabout underneath it,
Yeah,
so all those seeds are right here.
The
So this
seeds
is-
are there, but how about the bicycles?
Well, a bicyclist could ride through there, but more likely they're gonna be riding over here, or they're gonna be riding over here.
Okay, and tell me again where the artwork is,
Right here.
right there. So they're mixed, they're mixed, the travel around the the circulation around the decor is
For the most
it's all
part,
gonna be busy,
not really,
no?
because for the most part, the vehicles are stopping here in the parking lot. So who's driving in here is the first question, and it's not gonna be very many people at all. It's gonna be people who wanna use this to turn around. There are bollards here that keep you from driving in there, so people can't drive in this piece unless it's EV Mud or City of Lafayette, someone who has the ability to make the bollards go away. This area is just a turnaround, so if I'm in a car and I park here and I wanna, or if I wanna drop my wife off here at the BART station, I can come in here, drop her off and then head on out. This isn't a primary
no,
circulation element, because I'm not sure who would use it.
quite a few people will make the U-turn because they'll drop off. Just
I
like you
could
talked.
see
Yeah.
drop off and pick up there.
Right,
It'll probably be more convenient than the one out front.
oh, yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was you could drive into that circular area,
Yeah.
but that makes actually a lot of sense, yeah.
You just can't drive into this one.
Right, no,
No.
I understand that. How many parking places do we lose by creating that?
Patrick, did
I
you
think
put that in?
19.
Seven.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess now that isn't an issue since the
Yeah,
the
now
usage
it's
is,
not an
yeah,
issue. Back when this started, it was rather controversial.
okay.
What's bugging me is, what are the components that will prevent the bicyclists from looking at the nice surroundings and forgetting that they're in a location that is dangerous? They're looking at something pretty. They're looking at something very nice, which is good. But they're busy doing
I
something
would
that,
like to think that the cyclists who just rode here through our beautiful town with lots of beautiful oak trees all over the place are aware of their beautiful surroundings and also the need not to get run over by vehicles. They're also gonna have to ride through this parking lot if they're doing that, or be on the sidewalk. Over here, they're not in any danger. There's no cars, there's nothing.
Pedestrians.
There's pedestrians that it would be nice if they didn't run them over. But over here, there's really not a whole lot of,
No,
first of all, I can't envision why a cyclist would be in this roundabout. Why are they there? they're trying to go to this bike station or these bike lockers. So they're gonna get up on the sidewalk. They're probably not gonna be in the parking lot, so they're not gonna end up here. And if they're coming from this end, they're probably not gonna go into the roundabout and into the parking lot and then back. They're gonna head straight into the plaza and stay away from this.
Because there is a trail.
I don't see it as a conflict at all.
Oh, boy. That concerns me. I don't know if I need to be concerned. I'd like somebody to look.
As an experienced bicyclist, I just don't see that as being a real
No.
issue.
Do you not?
I think that most bicyclists, as he would say, would obviously appreciate the beautiful surroundings, but their focus is gonna be on where they're going on their bicycle.
Yeah,
So I think.
but are they gonna be so focused on
Yes,
all these interesting things,
exactly, it's not
They're gonna-
fall.
not be such good bicyclists?
I don't think that's the case, and I agree with Matt, I don't think that they're gonna be in that area anyway, I think they're gonna be taking the pathways to get most directly to the bike parking, so. I appreciate your concerns, but I really think that's not gonna be a real big issue here.
Okay, I know you're good, constant bicyclist, but that worries me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Go ahead.
anything else on this, or? I think we're good.
No, we really just wanted to reintroduce the project to you
Yes.
all after many, many years, and, you know, it's coming.
Let you know. that
Well,
it's
I was under the impression, because it's on our work plan, I thought this was just something that was nice to put on the work plan, it was probably gonna happen, well in advance in the future.
Yeah,
No,
But it's happening,
right on top
it's
of it.
happening right now, which is great.
well, it's been installed with Bart for quite some time.
Yes.
And so, when we got into the serious design, Matt took over and cracked the whip.
Well,
Why is this suddenly,
Good for Matt,
why
right?
is this suddenly coming about?
Well, it isn't suddenly coming about. Bart redesigned the bike station,
Yeah,
because when Farsney left a year or two, God, I guess it's 2 years ago. When she left, about a year before she left, Bart decided, we want to redesign the bike station. We don't like how this is working. And it took him over 2 years to redesign the bike station.
who did the designing?
Bart,
Or what? But yeah, but
Not me,
who
not me.
part, do you know?
Not me.
I don't know their names.
Oh,
Probably no one at Bart knows their names.
I do
It
know
is
some, I
A
was just
gigantic
wondering.
organization that is, to put it mildly, unbelievably difficult to get anything out of them.
yeah.
Fortunately, about 2 years ago, it was, a gentleman named Heath Maddox with Bart came on board, and he was instrumental in getting Bart
It
to
is,
start
A bit more
Doing-
responsive.
living up to their commitments that they made in their MOU with us.
A long
to get this
time
thing
ago.
Done.
Yeah,
So, took about 2 years for the redesign, and then I've been working with them for nearly a year now to get the specifications put together, because we had to merge all the specifications for the stuff that's the city is doing, and then merge Bart's specifications into that for the bike station, which is Bart centric. So we're managing the project, they're providing inspection for the bike station, the design for the bike station, but we're managing the entire contract. Yeah, Bart's specifications are written completely different than anybody else's, so
I
it's.
believe.
So we're gonna move on now, and again,
Thank you,
this,
everybody.
thank you,
Matt.
this was just, provided to us for our information, there's no action requested of the commission, so we're going to,
But thanks for your questions and comments.
Yeah.
yeah, no, and
Thanks,
it's,
Matt.
and we appreciate Matt coming here and giving the presentation, thank you.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah, thank you, we will. So we're moving on to item 7B, which is the quarterly report on transportation action requests, known as TARs or TARs for the fourth quarter of 2024. And again, staff's recommendation to us is to receive and file, so this is for our information. So we will,
Yes, but there is a petition for one of the items for the commission to reconsider, so.
okay, will you let us
I will
know?
let you know.
Okay,
So, thanks, Bart. So this is again, review of the TARs that were received by staff for the fourth quarter of 2024. And there were 3 received. So in the order that they were received, the first one is on Lucas Drive. We recently had a petition, I believe, from either second or third quarter for this street. This is a separate TAR on Lucas Drive, a request to install speed humps. So one more slide. So the request was that speed humps be put in these locations, 2 locations, one on Lucas Drive at the intersection of Lucas Circle South and the other on Lucas Circle. And so staff's response is that the city has an established traffic calming program, and that if the applicant is interested, they should go through that route. It's my understanding from hearing from many people in this community, there is not a desire for traffic calming, but nonetheless, the program is there if the
Safety.
applicant wishes. Next. The next TAR was submitted to me by a board member at St. Perpetua School, who identified safety concerns at the crosswalk that spans between the parking lots, the sports fields, and other facilities on one side, the north side, and the school buildings on the other side. And the TAR mentioned concerns with visibility, the grade of the street, and resulting speeds of cars, and cracked and fading markings along the street that have contributed to safety concerns for those using that crosswalk. So the request was for the installation of speed humps on Hamlin Road and the refreshing of the crosswalk and the associated roadway markings on the street. Subsequently, delineators were requested to choke down the width of the crosswalk. And so when considering staff's response to this request, I first took a look back at the results of the school safety effort that was conducted at the school in 2021 with the efforts made by a task force that was put together by staff, transit commissioners, and members of the school community, as well as the broader community.
Seems to me Bart started that. As
Yes.
I recall,
I was part of it, yes.
yeah.
At that time, the same concerns were mentioned and a number of potential solutions were considered and discussed. And so what has ultimately been implemented along the road, some in 2022 and other measures at other periods of time, were depicted them on this map. So it includes a high visibility crosswalk, flashing beacon crossings facing both sides of traffic. So you can see at the crosswalk, the flashing beacon signs, the 4 of them. 2 additional signs were installed to address visibility concerns so the signs light up when a pedestrian activates the RRB, and the signs state pedestrians, peds, and crosswalk. And those are shown by the orange stars. The locations of those signs are shown by the orange stars. A speed radar sign that flashes when cars are exceeding the speed limit was installed. That sign is shown with the green star. We also have multiple school crossing markings painted in the street. Some on the approach on Hamlin, kind of on the uphill side, traveling west to east, but also multiple markings traveling on the downhill slope. In addition, last year, the city reduced the speed limit in the school zone around the school to 15 miles an hour when children are present. And finally, during school pickup and drop-off times, crossings of the crosswalks are enhanced with a crossing guard. So quite a bit of work has been completed as part of this process. In addition, I quantified vehicle speeds in both the uphill and downhill sections of Hamlin Street in advance of the crosswalk. And the locations of the speed collection effort are shown on the map with the blue lines. And I showed the direction that I collected the speeds in. So the uphill and the downhill directions towards the crosswalk. So I use streetlight data to provide me with the speed data. And for that data collection effort, I used weekdays in 2024 during the months of the year when school is open. And what I found on the downhill speeds, the 85th percentile speed is 23 miles an hour. On the uphill, side, the 85th percentile speed is 24 miles an hour. And so staff believes that these speeds are entirely appropriate, given that they are lower than the posted speed limit of 25 miles an hour. And in addition, the average daily traffic volume is about 750 vehicles per day. Next slide. So I've just included some photos that I took over the past week or so to illustrate existing conditions at this location. So this slide shows the location from both directions along Hamlin Road. On the left, you can see the crosswalk, but also on the right-hand side of that photo, you can see the Peds in crosswalk sign on the right underneath the Ped crossing sign. And I've got a better picture coming up. On the right is the downhill approach to the crosswalk. And when pedestrians activate the RFBs, the beacons are flashing at the crosswalk. Next. Here are closer photos of the crosswalk. And you can see that the crosswalk paint is in very good condition. Of note on the photo on the right is that the small tree on the left on the school's property does restrict the visibility of the RFB for drivers coming down the hill. And so one recommendation to the school would be to trim that tree back. Next slide. Again, photos of the crosswalk and the markings to show that the paint is in good condition at this time. Next. And finally, here are some photos of the additional enhancements that were installed, including the speed radar sign on the left and one of the two Peds and crosswalk signs that light up. So in summary, my analysis indicates that speed humps were considered in 2021 and that they were deemed infeasible given the grade of the street.
That's right.
However, the speeds of the traffic do not justify speed humps. The markings on the street do not justify the relatively large expense to our public works to refresh them at this time. And delineators are not justified given the speeds of traffic and not preferred from a public works point of view, given that they do require a lot of maintenance. Few suggestions that I have is that I can let the Lafayette PD know that this area has been identified as a location of concern and that they should consider enforcement during peak times at the school. As I mentioned, the school could trim some vegetation to improve visibility. And acknowledging that much of the traffic during peak hours when school is open is from parents who are dropping off and picking up their kids, the school could remind parents of the importance of safe speeds and safety around the school. So I've had extensive communication with the board member from the school who had submitted the TAR. And he and I blocked out time next week to meet in person at the school pickup and drop off time. He was planning on attending tonight's meeting in person, but he did reach out to me this morning to indicate that he's been unexpectedly called away and not able to represent the school's perspective with you tonight. There may be other public comment from someone from the school. If not, I would invite commissioner discussion at this time, but the TAR applicant has requested that the topic be revisited at a future meeting when he's able to attend. So I didn't defer the whole topic because he wasn't sure if someone else from the school would be here to provide comment.
So I'll just quickly just add on, in addition to all the changes that you just outlined, the school does a very good job of having parents and teachers as crossing guards during times when students are going to be crossing. I experienced that because I live a little bit further up the street, and they do a very good job of that. So in addition to all the safety improvements that were made in 2021 or following the 2021 dialogue that we had with the school and the parents, that additional activity or support is also there, and I think is very helpful. Can you, and I have a quick question. What are delineators? I'm not.
The white posts.
Oh, which are put in the center of the road, or where would they be placed?
I mean, they can
they-
be put along the, against the curb to pinch the width of the crosswalk.
I see.
Kind of as a quick build bulb out.
Okay.
Is that what they had requested? Because I think there wasn't a photograph in in the.
They
version
had,
this
yes, they
gave us?
had requested kind of a hardened center line treatment, which is something that we do see in front of Spring Hill School. But those treatments are not meant to slow traffic, they're meant to direct traffic. Usually they're used at intersections so that cars aren't cutting diagonal at an intersection. Their drivers are forced to make it like a 90-degree turn at intersections.
Yeah, the Spring Hill ones were put in place to keep people from driving into the oncoming
Correct.
traffic.
Right,
So it was a pretty specific case.
that's right.
Okay, so then the TAR requested the delineators along the center line.
Subsequent to the tar, yes,
Yeah.
right,
Okay,
right.
Patrick, with this being an area, I know that there's no fog lines or, you know, the road's not thin. I mean, whenever a resurfacing is done, would that be an area where you might want to thin the road?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but, okay.
And that is something we can do. It would be several $1,000s, assuming that you would do the entire school zone, so 500 feet in each direction. Yes,
Yeah, I was just thinking, one thing we used to do that was useful. Was periodically if we are having a situation that applies. Invite the members of the police department, some of them, to come. And here, unfortunately, we don't have a public anymore that fills the room. We used to. It's little too easy to catch it on TV and Zoom and whatever, but I think it's worth from time to time to invite some of the police to come and hear some of the testimony, or particularly the staff, because they don't hear all that. So that they'll be a little more mindful of what they're doing. It's not that I think that they are not being mindful, but it's just that I think they're not being always mindful. And they said what they do kind of gets lost sometimes, and they forget. We all do, and they do too.
I'd like to follow up Greg's question. Can you, either one of you, can you clarify what treatment you're talking about when the resurfacing takes place? I didn't get that.
yeah, so fog lines or edge lines, so white 6-inch stripe along the edge of the lanes, and so you could pinch the travel lane.
Just by putting painted fog lines or painted lines along there. just
Similar to
to-
what was done in Burton Valley.
Right, okay. Okay.
So I do have, I believe we do have a public comment. However, I do have one more tar to discuss, so you don't
Okay.
mind, I'll just finish this and then we can
That's
come back. So the last one is a simple one. So 3441 Golden Gate Way, it's a commercial property, not far from here. Between between Mount Diablo and Second Street, next slide. And what was requested was red tips at the driveway to this commercial parking lot to preclude people from partially blocking the driveway, which they said happened frequently, but also to help with visibility as they were trying to pull out of the driveway. And so that work has been done. They also requested removing some of the existing 2-hour parking street signs because they felt that some drivers believed that it applied to their commercial parking lot. But they have multiple private parking signs in their parking lot, and so I denied that request. But anyway, they are happy with the result of the red tips. Okay.
So we'll go into public comment right now. Nobody is here present, but we have someone watching us that wants to make a comment.
Yes, we do. So Brandon Moran, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, well, I see the clock is ticking, so I will get to it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me. My name's Brendan Moran, and I'm speaking to you as the school board president of San Perpetua. And as an aside, I'm also a commissioner with the city of Walnut Creek, so I thank you for your work. I kind of want to just piggyback on the discussion that I just was listening to. And we understand that and thank the city for installing the flashing lights back in 2001, and the striping is fine, and we don't have an issue with that. And we are more than happy to trim the trees back as well. But I think what the message I want to impart to you is that although we do have 2 crossing guards at our peak times during the day, when all the parents and the kids that are crossing, we also are a growing school. Right now, we've got just under 300, and we have security cameras that have recorded, on average, about 1,600 crossings on that crosswalk per day on an average school day, and also 2,500. And I'm not taking issue with Patrick's numbers. I'm sure that we're both right in some regard. But where we're at as a school and as a community and as a parish, which has a lot of elderly people that are crossing there, is that we're just kind of one near miss away. And I'm speaking on behalf of the principal of the school, who is one of those crossing guards every single day. And she's been in situations where she's just pushing kids out of the way because someone is driving down the street with disregard for the flashing lights, for the striping, and everything else. And I understand and I appreciate that there is no one way to prevent somebody who wants to speed down the street from speeding down the street. What I would say is that if there is, and I'm not a traffic engineer, and I understand that speed bumps may not be the way to go just because that might make it more dangerous. But if there's a way to narrow the street or put in delineators, or if there's something that I don't know, I think that this would go a long way with the sheer number of people that cross every single day, and even on weekends when they're not pressing the buttons, that it be studied, because it's a dangerous area, and the city's done a nice job of helping us, but we feel that we need to keep up the efforts to make sure that the kids, the parents, the parishioners, and anybody else that's crossing the street remain safe. And we very much welcome a visit from the Lafayette PD. They can talk to our principal, and she can tell them what she's witnessed. But thank you for your time, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
I have a question. Why can we not, how to phrase it? Why can we not cut the speed? What guidelines could we use, I wonder? I'm basing this on what happens in Arizona, where my daughter lives. When school is in session, or if it isn't, not on non-school day, but on school days, I think what is it, 15 miles an hour, I believe, all day. Just, or whatever they got to put up, they tried different things. But why can't this group not do the same thing?
We did. We reduced the speed limit in the school zone last year around all schools,
And,
including this one. It's 15 miles an hour when children are present.
During school hours.
And
yeah, I know, but when children are present, why can this not be expanded a little bit?
We work with the
Just for a
guidance that the
school,
state group
any
gives
school
us.
day, it seems to me, is legitimate for reducing the speed.
We work within the guidelines of what the state of California tells us we can do.
Oh, I
So,
see,
yeah.
it's a law.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, thank you. You might try changing the law.
Any other questions for the speaker? Then if not, we'll move on. Is there another commenter, or?
No, that's it.
That's it. Okay, well, thank you for that one comment. So I guess any other discussion on this from commissioners?
Patrick, you indicated you're meeting again. You're gonna do a site visit.
With the tar applicant, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, and this will come back to us at another time then? Is that what I understand?
He has requested, yes, he had requested that someone from the school represent their interest. He wasn't sure if someone from the school would be here tonight, and someone did provide comments.
Okay, so you will meet with that representative on site.
Mhm.
This potentially will come back to us for further discussion. But as of right now, you've made a determination which it stands.
Yes,
Is that correct? Okay. All right. Then
but I believe the school wants the commission to reconsider.
to reconsider that.
Right.
Okay, I understand that.
To reconsider
We understand
to what?
that.
This would be an appeal of a decision.
Correct.
For the speed? Sorry. Was it for the speed, to reconsider the speed or?
No, overall other changes, delineators,
Oh.
painted line, whatever. So we'll look, I assume you'll have a discussion with representatives from the school. You'll kick around some ideas based on that. Both, you'll come back to us and
I'll put it on.
there will be sort
Probably
of
the next
an
agenda.
appeal of your decision, and we will discuss that.
Right.
Okay. Then that seems pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on this before we move on?
It is a dangerous street because of the steepness and the curve.
That's.
Uh,
But actions have been taken to try to manage that speed, and it appears that the speeds are being managed based on investigations that Patrick has done, but there are still concerns on the part of schools and parents, and so we'll consider those at a later time. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on. So that completes new business. We're going to move on to item 8, which is commissioner and staff updates. First, starting with commissioner updates, I'll begin by reminding everyone that I'll be out of the country, and this may impact, well, it may or may not, because again, you just need a quorum to schedule a meeting and hold a meeting, but I'm going to be out of the country from the 3rd of March until the 21st of March. So that would impact my ability to be able to participate in a meeting during that time period. And that's my one item. Does any other commissioners have an
Where are you
update
going?
or a report?
Where are you going?
Back to Africa, so.
Oh, nice.
to visit the elephant.
I can give you a quick update on GPAC.
Oh, good.
I think I know it's,
Anyone like to take bets? GPAC has received some communication from the planning department that it will reconvene in 2025. I believe at one of the January meetings, the city council requested an update from staff about GPAC. And so staff is working on that. And so GPAC will not be meeting in February and to be determined about March. And I have a
Any-
question, sorry, if anyone else has, I have a question for Patrick.
any other commissioner updates or reports? Okay, none, so go ahead with your question.
So, Patrick, I was at one of the last council meetings, I heard the announcement that Andy Comley is now going to be the emergency services coordinator. So who in the PD will be taking over the Slow Down Lafayette
I don't
project?
know yet. I don't know yet.
Okay,
It's a good question,
It is a good question.
very good question.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll
Big shoes
wait.
to fill, but yeah, I will
Yeah.
let you all know when I know.
Okay, very good.
Oh, okay. Andy's a great person to fill that position, so I think that's great, but obviously.
Yeah.
Slow Down Lafayette still needs attention, so,
Yeah.
and management, so, okay. Anyone else? Staff,
I don't have any additional updates.
okay. Well, with that, item number 9 is adjournment, so I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting. It is 7:54,
oh la la, we're early.
so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.